Thomas, it's hot in here. It was pretty hot out there.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was hot from the temperature and hot between the benches and hot on the field and hot between the spectators. Everything what you want now and what you hope for in a match like this early in the season. We did not insult each other. We did not hit each other. It was just like we were fighting for our teams, and that's it. So from my side, absolutely no hard feelings, and that's part of it. I'm surprised that we both got a red card for that, but okay.
For me, it's not a problem. Also because the most important thing is always the game and the final result. There is an opponent, and you have to try to kill the opponent in a sportive way. Otherwise, the opponent is going to kill you.
Great to get the goal back. Disappointing to concede, but always nice to score a last-minute winner. So we come away feeling we're probably happy with the point.
I know you just said winner.
Oh yeah,
that's how it must feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's sometimes what it does, you know. Overall, we probably didn't deserve a point from the game, but we dug deep. Yeah, still stuff to work on, but important point away from home.
I think we should have won the game, you know, two arguable goals that shouldn't have been goals by them, and I think the referees and fourth officials need to look back at it. I think on another day, you know, the decisions are both not goals, and it's obviously frustrating for us, you know, when we deserve. We think we should have won the game.
Both goals should not be allowed. I think both goals are irregular, and this is very hard to accept in times of VAR. Unfortunately, we didn't get what we deserved, but yeah, sorry to say, but the referee had the decisive role today, nobody else.
We'll come on to those in just a moment. So controversies, good goals, tactical battles, manager scraps. That was great fun.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every single minute of it. You know what? The intensity of the game, given the conditions as well this weekend, I thought was exceptional. The tactical battles between both managers, how they were kind of like switching between formations and personnel changes to get their teams back in the game, as well as the physical battles, which we'll have a little look at as well, I'm sure. Chelsea were much the better side. There's no doubt about that. But I did enjoy that different side to Tottenham. They're showing some grit, some determination, some will to stay in the game. But overall, just as a product of football to sit back and watch and enjoy, it was an incredible afternoon.
As Jermaine says, Farah, that the tactical battle was really, really interesting, wasn't it, between Conte and Tuchel and the changes they made during the game. But Tuchel got it right from the start.
He did. I think that was what was exciting. Going into this game, Tottenham being favourites against Chelsea home at Stamford Bridge, I don't think they'd have liked it. And we've seen that with the tactical decisions Tuchel's made. And I think that Tottenham wasn't ready for that. And we've seen Chelsea execute a game plan really, really well. And I think, you know, it started with their high press. And you can see here, Kante initiates the press. What you can see there is Mount, the way he gets his head down. And the Chelsea squad pretty much cut off half the pitch. And it's Mount that ends up winning the ball back. And it's this that I like. Then in the transition moments where they play forward passes and you can see forward runs and Havertz gets a shot away. And this was really early on and a consistent. The aggressive defending from behind, and we spoke about the transition and being in good second ball positions. Again, Mason Mount is key to this and picks up the ball. And I think from here, this is, again, you can see Mason Mount. The little arm there, you can see him pointing. So this is in a build-up phase here now. He's pointing to look at Havertz inside. He pulls himself out wide. It just puts that doubt in the defender's mind, and then he frees himself up. But what's good about this is the run from Sterling, just stretching that Tottenham back line, and he did it all afternoon, especially in the first half. But what happens here is Tottenham, this was pretty much how Tottenham defended the whole half. Laboured they didn't get out to Chelsea, and Mason Mount, who started the attack here, ends up getting a shot away on the edge of the box, and they outnumbered Chelsea. Chelsea get their goal from their press, which they started with right from the start of the game. What I liked about the press, although they kept him in on one side, they always had an out on the opposite. Players in those half positions, and the weight of the pass here from Sterling into Reece James to finish it was fantastic. And this was all afternoon, and I think you could see right from the off the intent in what Chelsea wanted to do, and they executed the game plan really well.
Because so many of your clips there, the press is intense, and as soon as they get it, they go. It's bang, 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 bang. It's not then take the sting out of it, they go. And
that's what it is. When you play in a pressing team, and some players don't like to play in a pressing team because it's hard work, but the reward of the hard work is then you're in good second ball positions. So when the ball does go past you and you nick from behind, you're then in a really good attacking position. And me and Jermaine spoke about that, and Chelsea did that so well, and Tottenham really struggled to break that down.
And yet Conte got it right tactically as well, but later on.
Yeah, it just took him a while to figure it out. I think he tried to believe in his team to, you know, play the way they've been playing recently, but then quickly realised that Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel kind of had the trump card, so he eventually brought on Richarlison. But this is where Chelsea were, at their best. So Reece James was given licence just to go. Whether it's Son or Kane coming deep, you squeeze on him. So what that would then happen, it left the top man isolated. In this instance, it's Harry Kane. He's got Koulibaly, Thiago and Jorginho in front of him. There's nowhere to get him the ball. Reece James was aggressive in the tackle, getting forward, saying, I'll take that. Same situation, this time on the reverse. Son up top, Kane drops in deep. Much more what Tottenham are used to doing. Kane dropping in deep. Look at Reece James. Straight in there, aggressive, taking that ball. And at the back, Chelsea were just very secure. This man comes on the pitch, Richarlison. Tottenham fans been desperate to see him. Automatically, he wants to run forward. And just running forward, it causes some doubt in defenders' minds. All of a sudden, Koulibaly's occupied now. Reece James is saying, well, I've got my man here, but it's created a nice little bit of space for Son to drop into. Now they can start to play in the final third. They didn't have any situations like this in the first half. They get down the right-hand side. It's a good cross. Harry Kane's just a little bit late with his run. This was a brilliant example because, yes, there's time on the ball, but Koulibaly has spent most of the game standing next to Thiago and Harry Kane going, oh, we've got this covered off nicely. Now he has a little glance and he's like, oh, no, Richarlison in a position where I want to go and mark him. He steps out. It's a splitting pass that opens them up. And all these runs forward, look at the impact it has from midfield to defence. It creates holes. So now just his runs, he's offside on this occasion, but it's changed the whole outlook on the game for Tottenham. And on top of that, he's horrible as well. He's not nice to play against. He's in your face. Him coming on lifted that team, lifted the spirit, and I've been waiting to see Spurs play poorly and get a result out of the game.
He came on like he had a point to prove, and he was going to get in their face.
I think he was watching from the bench all the stuff that was going on, chomping at the bit to get on the pitch. And as I said before, Spurs not playing well and getting a result at Stamford Bridge is a massive, massive step forward.
Controversies then about both goals. Let's start with the first Tottenham goal. Now, Thomas Tuchel thinks there's a foul in the build-up here. That's 44 seconds before the ball ends up in the Chelsea net.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a foul. I think Havertz used his body well. He stepped across the defender, and I think he's played for the foul. So I think it's a soft foul, but I do think in the build here it's a foul. That should have been given. Take that out of it, 45 seconds later, I think if you look here, Jorginho should have cleared the ball, and it's been too long since the foul. Far too long since the foul for it not to be given.
So then the next thing is where the Richarlison, Jermaine, is in the eye line of Mendy when Højbjerg shoots.
Now, I think at this point, Mendy can see the ball. I think there's a couple of things to look at here. I think one of the big things is Mendy doesn't complain at all. Goalkeepers usually will complain if their line of sight is blocked, and he'll know that he's in an offside position. It's a tricky one that can go either way. It really can. I don't think it's one that we want to see with that type of distance with those goals getting disallowed, but that was some great viewing, wasn't it?
So the second one it comes from the first corner, and Cucurella's hair is pulled by Romero. Now, there is no specific, believe you me, we've been looking, there's no specific hair pull line within the laws. It's whether you deem it violent conduct.
Yeah.
So when VAR looked at this, is this violent conduct?
I think it's violent conduct, yeah. I think, for me, when I'm looking at violent conduct, obviously you've got punching, biting, spitting. I mean, pulling of someone's hair violently like that onto the floor is violent conduct. Look at his neck.
I think it's just the aggression. You've seen the force of how he's pulling the hair. Look at the force behind that. I think if it's just a slight pull, it's a different outlook. But I think the force of it, for me, it's a red card. And
VAR has to decide whether that's violent conduct. And if they do, that's a red card. If they don't decide that it's violent conduct, then they can't just give it as a foul. The VAR isn't there for the foul. Does that make sense?
Not. It's there for the red card. And if they've not deemed it as violent conduct, which would have been a red card, then the game continues. We think it was violent conduct.
And yet in 2016, Robert Huth, retrospectively, because VAR didn't exist at the time, was given a 3-match ban for pulling Marouane Fellaini's hair.
Trying to get Spurs players like bans after the game.
No,
the game's done.
No,
right?
Don't you dare right? That's what I was not trying to do that.
Okay.
And they couldn't do that because VAR looked at it.
Just making sure.
Okay. And Tuchel and Conte fell out because Conte didn't look Tuchel in the eye at full time. Must be something in the air this weekend. Next is